Take 9 million. This one's the keeper. I'm Mike Quackenbush. This is Till We Make It. And if you are struggling to break through in a bigger way and you want to find greater success in pro wrestling, then subscribe to my channel right now. Today, I want to walk you through the 6 essential framing devices of pro wrestling. And just to start us off, what's a framing device? Well, it gives us a structure or context for having a conversation, relaying a message, or telling a story. And today we're talking about pro wrestling. Can you imagine that here on Till We Make It? That's what we're going to be talking about today. I think you will find today's video is especially relevant if you've recently transitioned from being in front of the curtain to working behind the curtain, either as talent or in the office of professional wrestling. No doubt, you know the business, the art form, all of it together, it's vast. There is so much to try and get your arms around. There is so much just vocabulary, so much knowledge you've got to know in order to be dangerous in any conversation. And I want you to be. And I want you to have the tools that you need to be able to look at wrestling, not through fan goggles, but through analytical goggles. And this will most certainly help. So I want to start off with one you've no doubt heard about before. Let's talk about the 4 eras of pro wrestling. The history of professional wrestling is about 160 years long, broken up into 4 eras, and we frame them like this. If we begin in 1865 with the end of the US Civil War, that marks the beginning of the Carnival era, the first and longest era of pro wrestling history. It lasts until 1948, which is when the territory era begins. It's dominated by the NWA, and they carve everything up into little tiny territories, and thus the second era gets its name. But in 1982, the cable TV era begins. It's dominated by the McMahon family, and that goes forward through time until 2011, the beginning of the 4th and current era of wrestling, the social media era. And if you'd like an even deeper dive into specifics, details, some of the technological innovations, and the most important figures in each of those eras, I have a whole video on the channel about that. I'll link you to it at the end of today's episode. Understanding the 4 eras of pro wrestling will allow you to analyze and discuss things in their proper historical context. It's going to make you sound like more of an expert. All pro wrestling matches can be broken up into 3 facets, and we frame these facets. I'm going to do this again. Frame these 3 facets as the mechanics, the performance, and the structure. And let's quickly define what each of these 3 facets contains. The mechanics of a match are all the physical movements that you are doing in the ring, your moves and your spots. The performative elements are those things which relate to the way that you sell, engage, or emote to the crowd. It includes your character ritual and other key parts of the performance like your entrance music and presentation gear. And the structure is the underlying architecture which informs the story of the match. And I got more to say about the structural elements right now. When it comes to structure, the overwhelming majority of American pro wrestling matches and Mexican lucha libre matches lean on the exact same structure. It's 3-act structure, the same one outlined by Aristotle in his book Poetics a couple hundred years before the birth of Christ. This is the 3rd framing device we have to cover. 3-act match structure includes Act 1, which we commonly refer to as the shine, the open, or the promise. Act 2, which we typically refer to as the heat, the steam, or the rising tension. And Act 3. This is the climax or the finish, sometimes called the go-home of the match. If you're interested in some fresh insights with the psychology, execution, and design, particularly of Acts 2 and 3 of the 3-act match structure, allow me to recommend to you Toolbox Building Better Pro Wrestling, because at least the first 15, if not 20 pages I wrote for this book are on that exact topic. You can find it now on Amazon or Audible. You knew I was going to get a book plug in here. Don't act like you didn't know. That previous framing device pairs very nicely with this upcoming one. The next framing device I want to detail with you is our performance tools, and we all have 3 to call upon when we take the ring. They are our facial expressions, our body language, and our vocalizations. Especially for those of you new to receiving feedback about your matches, pairing those two different framing devices, the one about 3-act structure, the one about your 3 performance tools, that's going to give you a deeper vocabulary to call upon so that you can break those pieces apart and then improve on your very next match. A sidebar here, since I know it's coming for me down in the comments section. Anytime I explain that we have 3 performance tools to call upon when we take the ring, our facial expressions, our body language, and our voices, I invariably get this. Well, that's not true because I wear a mask that completely covers my face and the audience can't see my facial expressions. Or my character is mute, so I don't use my voice at all. If you happen to be one of those rare exceptions where 100% of your face is covered by your mask, they can't see your eyes, your mouth, or anything, or you are completely mute, you don't even grunt when you're selling. If you happen to fall into one of those 2 categories, your other performance tools just have to make up the difference. What you cannot do with your voice, you're going to need to do with your body language and your face. Or what you can't perform with your face because it is masked, you're going to have to do it with your body language and your vocalizations. The 5th essential framing device of wrestling pertains to the phases of a wrestling career, and they are the apprentice phase, the intermediate phase, and the veteran phase. When you're training and in your rookie years, you're still an apprentice. And as you start to finally get comfortable and master some parts of the business, you're an intermediate. And then either the years you've invested or the experience you have accrued will grant you veteran status. And there are 3 levels at which pro wrestling is made. This is something I wish I better understood when I was just starting out. There is the independent level, the international level, and the corporate level. And not only are the expectations of each level very different, but so too are the customs and the culture. Each of these is its own unique beast. They're radically different, but all equally important. Whether you're looking to sign a contract with one of the corporate players like WWE, AEW, or New Japan, or perhaps you're content to see the world on your own terms through the international circuit, maybe you will find contentment in one single region of the world. Regardless, understanding these framing devices will better set you up for success regardless of where you decide to ply your trade.